Hello, my name is Adrian Cox Settles. I am the author of Beat Poetry Book, and I am the owner of Diverse Interactive Learning Tutoring Center. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Woo, this is going to be an interesting one today. It's going to be an interesting one today. Now, we are going to talk about the number 1-844-457-0351. Again, the number is 1-844-457-0351. This is not just a number, this is a whole experience, to say the least. So, if you want to get comfortable, because it's about to get juicy, you need to grab some tea, grab some coffee, grab a smoothie, or whatever you need to chill and just listen to what I have to say. Listen to what I have to say. Girl. Are you ready? Here it goes. Here's the backstory. So a few weeks ago, I experienced an unfortunate situation with hackers. Okay. So they hacked into my Instagram, made an account, connected to my Facebook, this community disturbances, and got me suspended from Facebook. They purchased some things, so some funds came out of my bank account and my PayPal account. Okay, so that's just to give you the backstory, and that's it for that. I'm not going to talk too much about that because that's under investigation right now. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. Now, fast forward you to yesterday, which was the Eid for me, which is the celebration at the completion of Ramadan. And it's been a long 30 days. Alhamdulillah. We did a lot of worship in every form possible. Try to be positive and, get extra blessings with charity and everything. It was just a beautiful month, the month of Ramadan. We fasted, we woke up before, the sun was up. So we did something called sahur where we had to eat before the sun came up. And then we prayed throughout the day. And then when the sun went down, we had iftar when we gathered and eat food and all those wonderful things. And so not eating and drinking sometimes can cause hardship someone, but there's the blessings in it, so it's not so hard. However, emotionally, sometimes you are tired because you can't eat, you can't drink, and you're supposed to withstand from various things. So you're tired. So during the situation with me getting hacked and my Instagram and Facebook and everything being taken over, that happened during Ramadan. It happened during Ramadan. So that was a test because on Facebook, I do a lot of my business interaction on Facebook. I have my family and friends on Facebook. So it was a little challenging, like when situations with like the earthquake came up and, the earth shook a little bit for 4.8 degree of what, the earth, degree level earthquake. And, I couldn't reach out for us Facebook. A lot of people just put everything on Facebook. That's how they connect with friends and family. And you get to see everything, what's going on right away. But, I felt that and just not being able to be connected. And so it's been a hardship, but it's still a blessing. Allahu Akbar. He does things for a reason. We don't know what the reason is. However, you just have to trust the process. You have to trust the process. So I'm very grateful to Allah for everything that He has done for me. And then, things going on in Palestine and on the news. It's just been very challenging during Ramadan, But we all have been worshiping and praying and trying to get those blessings in because they're like tenfold and more, depending on what day you're praying. So fast forward to yesterday. Now, I have been trying to contact Facebook via various emails that they have, hack emails, various emails. I've been emailing them about my situation so that I can get my account, unsuspended. I have used my husband's account to go in and try to reach them and I just have been on like different platforms and trying to see what to do. And it's been weeks. I haven't heard back from them or anything else. So it's been a hardship. So yesterday, well, the day before yesterday, one of the sisters said that you get into Facebook, the fastest way is to contact their business, contact them through your business page or contact them by, um, dealing with business. So I looked up, how do I contact business customer service for Facebook or, how do I contact Facebook via telephone and so on and so forth. And the phone number that I kept getting was 1-844-457-0351. 1-844-457-0351. And so, I've been scammed before. So I'm just like, let me look up this number. I put it in Google and everywhere I look, it said it was legit. I said, is this number a scam? Is this number real? Is this number legit? And it was like, yes, yes, yes. This is how you contact Facebook. Yes, yes, yes. And when you go and put this number and you will see it on so many things saying this is how you contact Facebook on various platforms. And so I was just like, wow, I've been emailing them for weeks, trying to get in contact with them via Instagram messaging and via my husband's account, and they have not contacted me. So at this point, I was like, wow, maybe this can help. So I did do some research and I looked and everything panned out. I was like, okay, this is the way to go. So I called the number and not too long, someone picked up the call and they said, thanks for calling Facebook, something. What is your name and what's the issue? I told them my name and I told them the backstory about what happened, previously when I got hacked on the various different platforms. And so they said, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, we definitely can fix that at Facebook. We can definitely fix that. I just need to, see what's going on with your computer. I need to know what's going on. So they said, well, when you do log onto Facebook, do you log onto Facebook via your computer or via your cell phone? I said both. I said both. So they said, okay, on your cell phone, in order for me to check your cell phone, I need you to download this app. And the name of the app is iParius. Iperius. Okay, so it's Iperius remotes. Okay, it's like a red symbol. It looks like it's two eyes, white eyes, somewhat. And so they want me to download that. Okay, so that they can have the remote control to see what's on my phone. Okay, so once I download that I get a ID number, and the ID number I have to give it to them so that they can have control over my screen. So I give them the ID number and he goes into the screen. This is what he tells me to do. Now I'm saying this for you to take notes because this is how they're going to come at you. I learned a lot of different things with this one experience. And so I'm going to give you everything and just explain my feelings or whatever was going on. So at this particular time, I was really hoping to get into Facebook. So I was like somewhat at a desperation state. It's just like if I know it's extreme, but it's just like if you need water and you've been everywhere searching for water, and then this one person tell you, okay, I got you. There's one person telling you that they have the water for you, and they say, okay, let's go through these steps and you can get the water. You're kind of like, okay, I'm getting closer to the water. So I was like, okay, I'm getting closer to getting my Facebook page been, it's been going through some stages. I've been really hopeful. I've been very faithful and I believe in Allah and I love Allah and I'm being faithful and I trust the process, but I'm still human. So I'm still gonna feel like, I hope I can get it open. So if there's a chance, I'm gonna go for it. And so I'm looking on here. He tells me to go to settings, then go to general. And so you go to settings. This is what some of them going to say. I'm just taking you through it just in case this sounds familiar. Go to settings, go to general and your iPhone or Android, I guess, and go down to legal and regulatory. Okay. So I went down to legal and regulatory. Now this is how he got me in the beginning. He said, so when you look down, it says regulatory certification. He said the United States one is you. That's you. But that Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, that's someone else. That's not you. That's someone else. That's how you can tell they got into your cell phone. Now, when you're looking for something, sometimes stuff that's really simple to understand, sometimes you just like, okay, you listening to what the person has to say. So I looked at it and I was like, wow, because I never looked at this before. So I was like, dang, okay. Okay. So I was very interested in trying to figure out what's going on. But later on when I look at it, I'm like, come on now. But okay, so he said, okay, that's how they got into your cell phone, you can tell they got into your cell phone that way. So I was like, oh my goodness. And so he said, okay, let's go to your term. Okay. Now, when we went to my computer, the app that I had to download was AnyDesk, ANY Desk. AnyDesk is also a remote control app that they can use to see your screen. If someone has to see your screen to see what you're seeing. Okay, so I download the AnyDesk app. And then, of course, I had to get him the ID number so that he can get on and get on the computer. Okay, so the first thing he said is, let me scan your computer to see what is going on with your computer. Now, let me tell you, at this time, 30 minutes from when I started, I had to be somewhere. We was trying to meet up for like a eat lunch, So it was like I was trying to push this thing along, but throughout the process, he was telling me to be patient, but I was trying to push it along, and then I was still vulnerable because I was still hoping that this will work. So I was in a very bad state that a person should be in when they're trying to do business. You shouldn't be looking for an answer and then you think you have it because they already there going to say, okay, I have it. Just be patient. They're going to really play with your emotions. And then if you're rushing, and you're really thinking that it's going to come about, you're just going to stay in and then you ask someone, what do you want to do? And the other person said, well, just stay on there because you almost there. And then you're taking advice from people and things like that. So I stayed on there. Pretty much my account was opened and I can see the thing being scanned, the computer being scanned, how it's being scanned is going. And so I'm looking and I said, okay, this is going through my whole computer, and I was a little bit, I knew it was going through my computer. I said, okay, I understand this is the process. I know a lot of times that is the process when someone needs to see what's going on in your computer. And he was like, yeah, I need to find out what the threat is so that we can stop the threat, and so you can get back into your account. And so I was like, okay, I was a little bit tired. Remember, we've been fasting for 30 days. I was taken back a little bit because I got hacked. So my emotion wasn't normally my normal emotional state. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit back and see how this goes. So I'm looking at that. And in the meanwhile, he's asking me questions about, okay, about about the bank. He's like, yeah, we got to block make sure they don't get to your bank accounts, or make sure they don't get it to this, make sure they don't get it to that, make sure they don't get it to that. And I was just like, yeah, I should be good. He'd be like, this is the process. We got to follow the process or whatever, whatever. And so I was just like, okay, let's see. And so he was like, okay, you can go ahead, open up your bank or whatever. And I was just like, all right, let's just see. Let's just see. Sometimes you go through emotions, you do things that you normally wouldn't do. Sometimes you go through stuff in different states of mind. You do stuff that you normally wouldn't do. It was an off day. And so, yeah, I went in and opened up one of my bank accounts. And so he was like, I'm thinking, okay, I think the bank account came first. I'm trying to think what came first. Let's say the bank account came first. Okay. Okay. So we opened up the bank account. Okay. He said, yeah, we got to make sure that we can do a tester, do a tester to make sure everything's okay. He said, when you do a tester, if anything comes out, it'll be refunded, this, that, and that. And I was like, whatever. And so I was like, yeah, you can do a tester for like $1, And I was like, so he was like, okay, we're gonna go and do this real quick. So he went through the bank account, I'm telling you, and you know how you have to transfer money. He went through the bank account and he, put in an email. You want to transfer money. If the email is not in your account through Zelle or whatnot, you go through and you put the email in. And so he went ahead real quick, type up a name for the Zelle. He went back real quick and added my account. And then, he was about to put the dollar amount in. And I had my hand right on top of the mouse because I'm looking, because I'm just like, it better be a dollar, 50 cents, something like that. Don't you know? He hurried up and typed $469. So what did sister do? Sister backspace that, like, oh no, I don't have that amount of money. And who were you trying to send it to? He said, oh, this is to the supervisor. I was like, nah, you can send your supervisor a dollar, and that's all that's going to happen. I said, my bank will be okay. Don't even worry about it. And so we got out the bank account really quick. I said, nah, that's not working. That's not happening. So we got out of that, and he was like, okay, 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 okay. You see, he was like, but it's just a test or whatever. And I was like, but I can't really afford for a tester to happen. And so he was just like, how about, and it was like, I was at the point just trying to, I guess, at this point, trying to figure out what's going on. And I think it was meant because to make this video, I had to go through the whole stages because it was crazy. I'm just like, how in the world I let that happen? And then, he said, well, do you have Amazon or do you have Walmart? 'Cause we got to block those. He was just saying, with Facebook, we can block that. And then once we block everything, the threat is gone. And then, you should be able to get your account back. But we do have to block things because they have your IP. And then when it was scanning at one particular point, he was like, you see this? It said IP compromise. It actually said that. And so I was just like, when I saw that, they still playing with your emotions. So when you see something like that, you're like, wow. And then he was like, "Oh, I found, the threat. They are in Croatia. Is it Croatia? Uh, Croatia. Sorry, Croatia. He was like, "Do you know anybody from Croatia?" I was like, no. He was like, have you loaned your computer or your cell phone to anybody? I said, no. He was like, I can tell from Croatia person from Croatia actually have your IP account. They have been in your account. And then he went ahead and pulled up on Google how Croatia look, where it's located. And I was like, nah, but you hear these stories all the time. So you're thinking, dang, okay. I guess that could be possible because normally it's someone far away. I was like, okay, Croatia, he pulled it up and say compromise and scanning and things like that. And so I'm still like in a stage, like listening, like, still in that stage. But for some reason, I didn't cut off right away. I just was just standing there, like going through the stages. And then he was like, okay, Walmart, Amazon. He said, we got to block them because they always get on there. And so we went to the Amazon. And for my Amazon, I already had like a blocking thing called Trend, forgot the name of it, but I already had something black with Trend, and he couldn't really get into Amazon. And so I guess when they were scanning and stuff, he go in and he tried to undo some things, but still he couldn't get into my Amazon. That was a law. He was blocking that because he didn't really want him to be exposed to that. And so the Walmart one, I said, yeah, I do have Walmart, but I have been at Walmart for a long time. And so he said, okay, let's look at Walmart. And so he was going to go ahead and try block it. So we went into Walmart and everything. And let me tell you what Shorty did. And I was watching. I was like, yeah, he could do all he want on blocking it. So I was just like, I was like, man, it's got to be a scammer. I was just looking, but I was still in emotion. So I was going through the stages just to see how we're in, I guess, to give you all the information. But he went to Walmart. Shorty checked the $100 gift card and did it twice, right? So he was thinking that he was going to go ahead and check off my card that was in the account, which was expired, and which was expired. So he couldn't do that. He was like, what about your card? I was like, nah. I was like, after the hacking happened before, I have cards coming. I don't really have any cards in there, so you can't really use that. And so he was like, he couldn't use that. Couldn't get into the Amazon. He couldn't get into the Walmart. And then if he would have tried to put it in there, I would have blocked that also, because I was like, what is he trying to do? My hand was on the mouse all the way through. But for some reason, I was going through the process. I don't understand because I normally don't go through the process. But Allahu Akbar, you wanted me to go through the process, I guess, to explain this video today because it was really strange. I was like a person in somebody else's body going through this process. This is normally like me. But, alhamdulillah, if I'm supposed to be a witness here, I am. And so be careful. They are going to your account, click on some gift cards, click on your card if you're not careful, have your hand on the mouse, or block them. Don't even let them get this far. I'm just telling you what I went through so you can know, don't even let them get this far. Okay. So I'm opening up all that, I'm exposing all this. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. How did I let that happen? But when you're in a certain state, I had to realize, I had to reflect on it. Sometimes things like that happen. And I'm normally not in a certain state, but when things affect you, sometimes you don't know how they affect you. Sometimes you become a little bit numb. And during that stage, I guess I was a little bit numb, just still looking and still being smart at the same time. But I should have cut it off. I would have been smarter, but I wouldn't be able to make this video. So after that, he was asking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Do you have anything with Bitcoin? Because they got to be blocked too. They got to be blocked because they try to get Bitcoin. I was like, yeah, they tried. You tried. So I was like, still sitting there like I'm, going for the ride for some reason, wasn't stopping it. And so the Bitcoin won. So we went to the Bitcoin. Okay, because I have a small thing of Bitcoin. So we went into there. Like I said, I was crazy. We went, and I'm telling y'all this. It doesn't make me look smart, but I'm just putting it all out there because I'm like, I'm gonna be informative. I'm be transparent. We went to the Bitcoin. Okay, so we got into that account, and I understand why they picked the Bitcoin account. They picked that because in a Bitcoin account, you need an identification. Okay, you need identification. And so when we went into my account, he was like, well, you need an ID in order to make sure that it's finalized so that we can, make sure that account doesn't get affected. Now, I'm not for sure what happened first, the Bank of America, Walmart, or the Bitcoin. I'm not for sure about the order, but these three things happened. I try to be for sure. It was just so much stuff going on, but I'm just telling you what happened at each time. And so with the Bitcoin part, the ID, and I was like, I don't know about the ID, but I know I know Facebook has asked me several times when I was going in with emails or went to the platform, you gotta Facebook and Instagram, they want to see your ID to make sure it's you. So I was a little easy with the ID more than I was supposed to be. Like I said, I was a whole different person in a whole different body. I don't even know, but it's crazy. And so, Bitcoin requires you to have that ID. And so I was like, dang, I was asking somebody that was, close by, like, what you think? You think I should do this ID? Just trying to get some advice, for them to say, oh, no, don't do it. Or, no, don't do it. But the person was like, go ahead and do it because you've been waiting a long time to get into this. This might be your way. And I was like, but I don't know. I don't really know if I feel comfortable. I'm not really for sure about everything that's going on. I don't know. So I went through and I added my ID because you got add the front and the back, whatever, to your ID. And of course, he was saying, make sure it's clear. And it wasn't as clear, but I was like, yeah, whatever. So I did that. We got out of there. And then after that, like I said, I had somewhere to go. So I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. And he was like, well, if you go, here's my number and here's my extension. And I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, I gotta find out where I put it. But he was like, here's my number, here's my extension. His name was David. And again, he I told you he was he's Indian, like his accent. So he was Indian. He said his name was like David Brown or something like that. And I was another red flag. I was like, man. And so I said I had to go. And I'm trying to think, was there anything else? I wanted to make sure I tell you everything. So when I got on, he wanted my name. He wanted the email that was associated with my Facebook account. And I figured out after everything that was done, the scanning was done to distract me from the questions he was asking me. But even though the scanning was being done, I was still focusing on the accounts, the questions, and everything else. I was really like focused on what was going on, because I was just like, anybody can be a scammer, whether they were for a company or not. And I wasn't for sure at that point. I was like, no, I said, this is another scammer. But for some reason, I just went through the stages. So he wasn't able to get into my banking account. He wasn't able to get into my, various accounts. However, I did have to go through this, as a learning lesson and something to reflect on, just let myself know that even though You're very smart, you know about scammers, you know about this, you would never be in this situation. You can never say never because you're very smart. I know a lot about scammers, but when you want something, sometimes you put yourself in that position to be used and abused when you want something really bad. And so I was in that situation because I haven't been able to get into my account for a couple of weeks. And so it seemed like this was the way to go. I can finally talk to someone. And, not being able to talk to someone, you sending emails, you sending, chatting or whatever. I was actually able to talk to a live person. And I was just like, wow, we really miss that talking to a live person, all this AI or everything else. It's just been really hard, especially when you're trying to get business done. So I guess I was going through those motions. And, I guess people go through that, even the people that are the strong people will sometimes, fall short and become a victim to something. But I'm taking accountability because I shouldn't have let it get that far. But sometimes your emotions play games with you. But I was still smart enough to know, oh no, you're not going to take no $469 out my account. And no, I'm not going to connect no card so you can get no $200 worth of gift cards from Walmart. And that they said the ID thing, I guess I was a little light on that because I was kept sending my ID to Instagram and to Facebook to get on. So I wasn't as protected as I normally would be. And so my main thing is if you're going through like an emotional state, sometimes you don't even know it. Sometimes you think you're strong in an emotional state, but you do get affected by things. Sometimes somebody might pass away, or you might be sick, or it just can be something that's different from what you used to. You just don't know when you're going through that state. And so you'll be tested while you're in that state. And then you'll realize later, wow, I must have really been in a bad state because if I was in my regular self, that wouldn't have happened. And so when you're going through something, it's good to understand your feelings, what you're feeling, what you're going through, and really recognize that you're going through something and protect yourself from other things because you're in a vulnerable state, you're more open to being abused. You're more open to being abused than you normally would. But when you're so strong, oh no, not me, not me. Sometimes when you want something really bad, you'll keep doing stuff that you're not supposed to do because you actually think you're getting close to something that you want, and you see a lot of red flags, but sometimes you don't pay attention. And like I said, in my situation, I was protected from a lot of things. I saw it, I was ready. And even though I was in an emotional state, I still was smart to know, oh no, you're not taking money out of my account. Oh no, this, that, and other. And then after the whole situation was over, I hurried up, I changed all my passwords and I hurried up over to Best Buy and I talked to a specialist and he looked at everything and he said, yeah, they don't have anything on your computer, they are totally off. Cause I did take off I disconnected the app that was on my phone for the remote and I disconnected the any desk on my computer. So I did that right away. Cause I know if I would have kept it open, they could still see everything and do things. So I disconnected with the person. And, he told me to call him back. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I have the information if I need it. But I was just like, wow, I had thought I did research and I looked everything and the number checked out. But I just kept putting the number in. I went to YouTube. I just was trying to find some information on it, and I didn't see any information on it at all. And so I was just like, man, maybe I should just go ahead and do this video to let people know about this because I didn't have any clues about it. And you all might call the 1-844-457-0351 number, just like I did. But I just want to save you some time and let you know it's not legit, you know. And if it was legit, someone intervened with the call. Some scammers intervened with the call with a call center, but afterwards, as far as I know, you can't really talk to a live person. You might can get a chat with a person, and that's really hard to do. I've been trying to chat with a person. Yeah, I've been trying to. It's just a lot of going back and forth. It's going back and forth. So I just want to let you know that 1-844-457-0351 is not legit. It is a scam. And I wish someone would have told me that because I went looking on YouTube for it. I went looking on Google for it, and it doesn't say anywhere where it's a scam. So hopefully I can save people from going through what I went through. And if I do, it was all worth it. Like I said before, my faith is strong. I'm only human, so I'm going to still feel things. Allahu Akbar, He's so merciful. He's so gracious. Things could have been a lot worse. I still have my mindset. I'm still going through the stages because right now I can't laugh like you crazy. You actually went through it. But sometimes, Allah uses me to help others. So sometimes I have to go through things so I can share my story. And if you look at my page, I have been through a lot, and I've shared several different stories. But this is a more of a calm like story because I'm normally up hype. Education this, math this, A squared plus B squared equals that, homeschool this way, this is that. So I'm always I don't want to say lecturing, maybe a little motivational speaking about education, maybe. So that's more of my style. But this is more calm, straightforward, to the point, and just letting you know, just be careful because these scammers are out there. They don't care. They don't care. And whoever did this, they have the number on so many different things. Call Facebook for this, call Facebook for this. They have the number pasted so many different ways. And I was just like, wow, nothing says that this is a scam or it's not legit. And so when you don't see that, it doesn't mean that it is the real thing. You just have to, keep going back to Facebook, trying to figure out, talk to people that have been through this, sometimes going your way with your perspective, with your feelings. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it. And so I was looking for something. So I find him. I found him and he found me. And, he tried to get through some things that he couldn't really get through. Another advice was to change your IP number. So if you feel that someone has your IP number, contact your Wi-Fi company, whoever you do Wi-Fi with, and get them to change your IP number. And it can be changed. You might have to unplug everything for like a few hours or whatever, and it would like reset. So get that changed because someone has your IP number. They can get into your Wi-Fi, they on your computer. I mean, everything. So sometimes you have to go through things so that you can upgrade your mindset or put things in place. Because if your IP is someone has your IP, if you change that, then that is like a new start. And you just have to be smart with your computer and things like that. And so I just want to, like I said, I just wanted to let you know some gems. If you're not for sure about something, just don't do it. Don't do anything in an emotional state. Let someone else facilitate or advocate for you. Because when you're in a state, even though you're smart, you know this, you know that, you're still in a state that you wouldn't normally be in. So you might make decisions that you normally wouldn't make. And if you've been through some type of trauma, I don't think the situation with Facebook for me was trauma, but it was something that took me back a little bit, and it did affect me in a way, and then when that situation happened yesterday, I was just like, wow, I was more affected than I thought to be able to be in a situation when I get scammed twice. I don't know, three times a charm, right? But twice, after twice, you just sit back and evaluate things. Even the first time, you sit back and evaluate things, but sometimes somebody's throwing something at you and you like, okay, this time might not be the same. But sometimes it is the same. So just be really smart about your decisions. And I hope that everything works out well for you. And it's not just about 1-844-457-0351. It's about the scamming process. Okay. They see people that want something and they're there to give you, to kind of persuade you that they have what you want. They're really good with persuading. They're very pushy too. Oh, come on, we got to finish the process or you're not going to be able to, at the end, what you want is at the end, you're not going to be able to get your Facebook back. And then you're thinking, like I said, you don't have any water and this is the person with the water and they holding the cup and they keep moving it back. Like, come on, walk towards me and then you can get this cup. And then you're walking towards them, going through this journey, doing this and doing that. And then during the journey, you're realizing, I'm not really feeling this. But sometimes you go to the end of the journey because you still hopeful, but you still doubtful. But sometimes you just walk in because you like, I don't know. Sometimes you just walk in because I was just walking like, I was feeling like, I don't know, and things like that. And, whatever your instinct is, you would take your instinct, but sometimes your emotions go over top of your instinct. So your instinct is not as strong as it normally would be. Because normally, like, nah, I would never. You did that? Oh, I would never. Have the right emotions, let the right thing happen or the wrong thing happen, and you'd be surprised. You'd be like, yeah, I was in this situation. I would never in a million years. Yeah, that was me yesterday. But like I said, I'm in a good space. Allahu Akbar. This was just a lesson for me to put out another video. Like I said, this video is different from from the rest of my videos. The rest of my video is always lit. And I'm always hyped, education. This is it's educational and informative, very authentic based on my own experience. I'm very vulnerable, very transparent with this. Huh. I got scammed twice. When are you going to learn? And like I said, I take total accountability. I let my emotions control me instead of me checking my emotions. And it's something I have said before, don't let your emotions run you check your emotions. So I should have been listening to my own advice, because remember, this is Adrian's advice, life advice. And so like I said, I'm just dropping it out. Just when you're emotional, try not to do anything that's extreme. Try to have someone with you that's for you, that's paying attention to what you're doing, because you're going to need someone with you when you're in that type of state, because you're looking for something, thinking someone else have it, and you can't really see everything else. You're going through your emotions, you're hoping that this happens. And so you're in a total different state. You're thinking it's going to be an answer, but it keep dragging and dragging and dragging, and you think you're getting closer, and they keep pulling it back further and further. So it was very interesting. I learned a lot from the situation. I learned that when you think you're strong in a situation that affects you, sometimes you're not as strong as you think. And me being able to go through that again and still pushing through, I wasn't as strong as I thought. And so I had to sit back and evaluate, like, wow, this really did affect me. And like I said, I have strong faith in the law. I am still human, so I'm gonna have strong faith, but I'm still human, so I'm gonna still go through some things. My feelings are still gonna be there. I'm just, asking Allah to please guide me and help me to make the right decisions going forward. Because I'm only human. You have to realize you're only human. You're gonna make mistakes, and when you try to act like you don't make mistakes, that's when He gonna test you, and you really gonna see all the mistakes you make. So humble yourself and know that you're only human, and that you will make mistakes, and Allah is protecting you from those mistakes. It's not you. Someone is leading you, someone is showing you, someone is protecting you. It's not you, and sometimes He has to do things to humble us. Even though I thought I was humble, maybe I wasn't humble enough. Or like I said, maybe He wanted me to go through this so that I can have this for you all, or protect whoever going to go through the 1-844-457-350-351. And I told you all to get your tea. Now this is my tea right here. Now this is sour. I'm into a lot of natural herbs and spices and things like that. So I do a lot. My smoothie has so many different natural things. It's crazy. But just try to be the best that you can be. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And just be careful when it comes to your emotions. It was a pleasure. Like I said, I hope my story helps you all. It was definitely a learning experience. There were a lot of red flags. I felt the red flags, but when you are going through some type of emotional state, even though you feel it's not as strong, and sometimes you just follow along, hoping that at the end you can get the result that you're looking for. But a lot of times you're not, because the person is playing on your emotions, because they know you're calling them because something is wrong and you need an answer. So they want to be the person that's going to provide that answer. So if you need something, just be careful who you ask for it, and make sure you know for sure. Because like I said, I looked it up, but even if I looked it up, like I said, I've been trying to get on for weeks. So that was my thing. I've been trying to get on for weeks, contacting them and things like that. So when I saw this opportunity, I'm like, wow, this might be it. But it wasn't it. It was another lesson to be discussed. And I learned a lot. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.